Alrighty, ruin cuckoo cachoo to you at home and nobody's not watching out there. According to the subtitles, it says really. Really leads to happiness. And she's like, I like being unhappy. Apparently, I don't know. I don't think she's real. Let's go back to this Laya. What would you do with the money? Let's just ask everybody in sequence that.
What would you do with the money?
I would hire a private investigator to help me find my daughter Mallory. We got separated on a fishing trip quite a few years ago now, and I spent all my time and my resources
how long ago?
finding her, going from city to city, but she's always moved on.
Wait, didn't I already ask this?
Yeah, a private investigator could be life-changing for me.
Okay. What would you do with the money?
What would you do with the money?
I'd start my own cult.
Okay.
Dedicated to something Cthulhu and bringing about the end of days.
Do you know the good word of Cthulhu? The sleeper of relay. The, what was it? The keeper of the messenger of the great old ones, that sort of thing. You know, it's like, look around, find out about Cthulhu. What about you? What would you do with the money?
What would you do with the money?
Oh, I have a financial advisor that handles my money for me. My parents use them. They're really good.
That's legit and seems in character, and like, I don't have any plans. I'm already rich. I really don't need it. I would just maintain the richness, I guess, with the financial advice. It's so easy to stay wealthy when that's your default. Why would I fuck that up?
What would you do with the money?
Well, I've been working on a film for several years. It's kind of like my main baby when it comes to screenwriting.
I forgot you were doing that.
But I haven't had the capital to produce it.
Okay.
It's a superhero film.
Okay.
But
they're going to be really boring.
In most superhero movies, someone gets powers. They either become the good guy or the bad guy.
It's just going to be a guy.
What if they just still remain a guy? And they don't use the powers. Maybe they're like, they try them out, but then they're like, you know what? I'm just going to stick to my regular life. And
fuck, great power, great responsibility.
Film that turns into just a slice of life normal guy film because he doesn't use them. And then at the end, when you think he's like, oh, he's about to save the day,
he's like, nah, I'm a coward.
Powers get reversed and he loses them.
Okay, that made me dislike you more, but you just seem like a weird fanboy. Like, maybe an actual supervillain? Like, you actually have mundane powers involving math or something? Or you just are like one of those, like, lawful evil types, and you have a high enough charisma to sort of, like, appear normal enough with your super high intelligence and stuff, so you don't need your strength or whatever is your dump stat. He's like, that's not important. Let's see what's your most I just like it, you know, you want to screenwrite that's fine. It's just there's so many powers that really aren't that useful. Look at the X-Men. A lot of them, there's like a guy who's like, I just have eyes over my body. Yes, I can see in all directions, but also I can get poked in them. I don't have any sort of extra ability. They're uncomfortable under clothing. Like, there's like a guy who's got like 3 faces, and it's like, if you wanted to appear to be like, you know, like a Greek god or something, that you could pull that off, and you can see in 3 different directions. That's not terrible. the faces don't seem to have their own personality. It's not like a heads thing like Cerberus, or anything like that. There's a guy who's basically a half chicken person. He can't fly unless he uses a drug called Kick, which gives him the ability to fly, but other than that, it's just... He's just the guy, the thing from Family Guy that fights Peter, only can't fight that good, and it has to deal with the fact it's got hollow bones. He can, maybe glide a bit. It just looks weird. It's just the worst version of having a huge nose and an awkward teenage face forever, but also adding feathers and actual beak to it. There's not real benefit to it. There's worse powers, oh yeah, this kid can... Your power is you can explode, but you can only do it the one time and you will die. You don't get to explode and come back. It's the once. That's it. So use it wisely, because there's ants that do that. You're basically that. There's another guy who's got a little better power, where he's got no skin. It's sort of like he's got the opposite of an exoskeleton. But he's also kind of flame retardant. He doesn't catch fire. He can burn easily, but it doesn't seem to hurt him that much as a normal person. It seems like he does burn quite easily, but he doesn't burn fast. It's like a candle. I don't know. He's kind of creepy looking. There's a bunch of X-Men that don't have the most useful powers. But to me, just depending on if you only got one power, a lot of times X-Men and just superheroes and stuff, they have more than one power. They don't just have a single power unless it's pretty useful. But flight, just flight by itself, I think Heroes, the series, did the best job of covering that. And it's just you can just fly. And flying is by itself is not that useful. I think the guy was I don't know karate. It's well, am I going to carry a gun? We're going to save people from falling buildings? It's I'm not super strong. The guy was, he looked like he worked out. He looked like he lifted. But just flight by itself, can you carry a person? Now, you do see that he has the capacity to fly at seemingly supersonic speeds. You just don't see it very much. But he also doesn't seem to have any sort of resilience to damage. There's a thing called wind resistance and, air pressure, the temperature change that you get when you go up. They cover this in Dragon Ball Z and Chronicle and stuff, where it's you should really wear goggles, to fly, because traveling at high speeds will dry out your eyes and is very difficult. Bugs, less so when you go a certain height, but it gets cold, then you got to worry about inclement weather, possible running into a jet, that sort of thing. You also have to have really good reaction speed, and he was a pilot, so that helps, but flight by itself, it's a fun power, but people are oh, if I could only have one power, it would be to fly. It's that's kind of a selfish power that you can't do much with, but it's not really that harmful either. It's not invisibility or mind control or something. It's yeah, he's you just want to be your own carnival ride, cool. Like, you could still provide a valid service. You could be like a rescue worker, you know, like a fucking fireman that, depending on how much load you can carry with your, you know, like the weight, could be very, very valuable. And again, in moving people from place to place, as a courier, you know, but like fighting crime, you're gonna have to outfit yourself. I don't know. There's just like, even just like just like super strength by itself. Just by itself, it's like, okay, so you're strong enough to lift a car. It's like, but is your body able to handle the weight? Like, do you have the not just stamina, but like the resilience? Like your tendons would render themselves from your bones lifting a car. Maybe you lift up the car as it also falls through you. Like, I don't know. There's a lot of powers that, if you just have the power, it's not very, like super speed. Super speed, not very useful if you don't have some sort of resilience or resistance to physical movement and the reaction time to process, you know, like, oh, you have super speed. Wow, you just realized that you can move at 100 miles per hour. That's not even that fast for, like, superhuman power stuff. But to go from 0 to 100 without anything, you're just gonna kind of like not be okay. And the faster you go, the more likely you are just to sort of like against the reaction of the, you know, even if you get yourself going, you still have to have resilience and reaction. It's just like, run, bam, right into a thing, you know? Or how sturdy are you? Like, a human being cannot just move. If a human being just ran 100 miles per hour into anything that wasn't meant to be cushioning, you're pretty much done, you know? And if you could just start from 0 to 100, like, even the best cars take like friggin' like $200,000 cars take like 3 seconds or something to get there, and you're sitting and you just put your foot down and you just hold on. You just deal with the G's, as opposed to my body's doing it, you know? You gotta have more than one power, basically, at least with a lot of powers. So, and flight's one of the best examples. What about your biggest regret, my guy?
What is your biggest regret?
My biggest regret.
You lost something to someone, didn't you?
Years ago, I used to work at a video store. Back in the day and age where they actually had video stores.
Sunrise Video.
Have everything at your fingertips streaming. And I worked with this girl named Rebecca. And
oh my God!
we got along
Is that Rebecca
so
from earlier?
we were jokey. We had banter. But the thing I was oblivious to at the time was that she was flirting with me.
Do you like dogs?
Like,
you
she
may
was
win
into
this just because of that.
And the crazy thing is, I had a crush on her, but I was in the dark to her feelings about me. But now, years later, I can think back. I'm like, oh yeah, she was totally flirting with me. She, like, how did I miss that? Nothing happened.
Man,
and
I don't think you're a serial killer. I think you're
that
just
is a major regret.
on the spectrum or something.
I
Like,
might take that one to my grave.
You just said it to us. That's so not happening. You literally just said that. Alright, let's just follow up. Because at this point, if I'm going to assume they're the same Rebecca, not like Rebecca is not a common enough name. I'm just going to say, I'm assuming.
Have you ever cheated on anyone?
Because they put it there.
No. And I don't think I ever would. Not even if I had the chance. Although I did cheat on a math test once in junior high. And I couldn't live with myself afterwards, so I wouldn't even cheat on the test again.
I don't think this guy's lying. I think he's just a fucking weirdo. Like...
What is the worst way you've betrayed a friend?
I try not to betray friends, but...
I would hope so.
Okay. I spoiled Avengers Infinity War for several of my friends.
That is a pretty big sin in your community, sir.
Opening night, I saw it twice. I got my tickets in advance for 2 showings right in a row, back to back. I was at the theater for like 6 hours just downloading Infinity War, and it was awesome. But I'm like, okay, Friday, maybe people haven't seen it yet.
It's the day after.
Over the weekend, I saw it 2 more times. I go into work Monday. I assume that everyone has seen it. It's a phenomenon.
Good.
It's like the movie grossed like $2 billion.
You saw it 4 times inside of
I assume they all saw it opening weekend, and I started going on about the people we lost, the Avengers we lost.
That is wow. This guy is so him.
Really
all right.
Spoiled that movie for a lot of people.
They made it. Yeah. That is something.
If you're watching, let me just say once again, I am so sorry. I promise you, I am now keeping it spoiler-free.
Man. All right. Well, I've learned about you as a person. People who spoil movies suck. I try not to do that in any way. I wait till I'm like personal with the person to talk about it, just because you never know. And that was one of the biggest events. I'm gonna say it here because god damn it, how many years has it been? But yeah, no, I died inside a little when it was like this start. I don't feel so good. Like that fucking killed me because I'm like, I knew they were gonna do that to you, and I knew it was like behind the scenes the Sony stuff, and they like, I knew they were gonna bring him back, but of course they were gonna do the thing. Like they had to. Like I predicted the stuff, and I was just like, you bastards. Hit me where it hurts. Why don't you? All right. What's his happiest? Well, it's just more relationship stuff because he just like, I might pick him just because that Rebecca person that was mentioned in the first round might be a real thing. And
if you were going to be stranded on an island with one person of your choosing, who would it be?
He's reached my favorite just from that.
Who's going to be stranded on a desert island with one person? It's not an easy question. I have 7 billion choices.
Well,
okay.
When was this? 7.5 at that point. It's more.
So, a lot of people are probably going to pick someone who's like really attractive or like a great conversationalist, very entertaining. I'm going to pick Vladimir Putin. and it's not because I'm a fan.
No, I didn't think so.
If I was on that island and just Putin just magically appears there, that means I've taken the biggest despot in the world, the most evil person
I'm not
walking the earth.
I'm not making a comment on that.
I don't think in good conscience I could pass up that choice.
I do appreciate the concept
for so many people. And then
choosing to be like,
it's him, and if he wants to annex something, he'd have to annex my supply of coconuts.
You can annex these nuts.
The people of Ukraine are okay. No
coconuts.
World War III.
Damn.
That's, yeah. No regrets. It's Putin. Let's go.
Let's go. Oh my God, I love that. Nah, like, I don't like how much I like this guy and get the whole, it's like, okay, so the concept of this question is to be like, well, either you can look at it one of three ways. One, this person is now sort of your slave or trapped with you, and you're going to Stockholm syndrome them into, like, it's Adam and Eve time here, baby. Like, and, you know, that's not exactly healthy, and I don't really support that. Or you pick somebody who you already know they would have picked you. That's wholesome. You know, some people would be like, if you were on an island and I could choose to be trapped with you because only one person, I would do it. Like, I don't fuck the rest of the world. Like, you shouldn't be alone there. That's true friendship. That's true love. That's special. It doesn't have to be it is what it is, regardless of its circumstance. I respect that. That's cool, but not so much the whole, like, pick your favorite celebrity crush or, you know, famous person that you would just want to spend time with. It's like, it shouldn't be the same answer as somebody who you're like, oh, well, if you could have, you know, you could spend a weekend or have dinner with, you know, just sit there and talk with them, have a date or whatever. This shouldn't be the same person unless you're married to them or something. Like, you know, it should be. That's one possible aspect. Or the other aspect is, oh, well, I want somebody who's going to, like, be able to, a survivalist, you know, like, the first one that comes to mind is Bear Grylls, I think that's his name. I didn't really ever watch the show. I know there's other people that do that stuff. I don't really know. But whatever that does that, or somebody who's super inventive and can get you, like, somebody who's like, I'm gonna get us out of here. Like, I don't, Gilligan's Island, off the hell out of here. You know, like, this isn't a big deal. Or, like he has, I don't really have the survival skills necessary to live. Like, that's not gonna happen. Maybe I'll live for a while. But this is my opportunity to remove someone from their capacity to harm the world. And I respect that, because that's I mean, for all I know, you know, he could have, his pick could have been capable of, you know, helping them escape. For all I know, he's got a chip in his body, he's just gonna push, and it's just gonna be like, helicopters show up, and then he just gets left behind, like, no, fuck you, dude. I don't know why I got teleported here, but, you know, Mother Russia has got me. Fuck you. It's weird. No, fuck you. You know, and just leaves him. But at least he tried. Or whoever one might choose. I respect the thought process there. I'm going to end this because I've already kind of gone on for a while about him.